from Nigeria and wants to create a little mini Nigeria in Britain.
No, that is not right, and Nigerians would not tolerate that. That's not something that many countries would accept. There are many people who come to our country, to the UK, who do things that would not be acceptable in their countries. It's virtually impossible, for example, to get Nigerian citizenship. I had that citizenship by virtue of my parents. I can't give it to my children because I'm a woman. Yet loads of Nigerians come to the UK, stay for a relatively brief period of time, acquire British citizenship. We need to stop being naive, and that's why under my leadership we now have policies to make it a lot harder to just get British citizenship. It's been too easy. It's basically a conveyor belt. We want people who have who want to come to our country to be net contributors, not people who will immigrate and then need welfare, need social housing. That's not right because they haven't paid into the system. So there is a lot that I'm changing on policy that is suitable for the times we live in. We could get away with these things before the era of mass travel, before mobile phones, before small boat crossings. There's just the global mass migration, which we're seeing that's very destabilizing. They didn't have that in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. We need rules that work for today.
Okay. Yes, Nigerians and of course everybody across the world, please, if you are watching this broadcast, please pay close attention. I have a message for Kemi Bedenock. For many people who may not know who Kemi Bedenock is the leader of the Conservative Party of the United Kingdom. She's of the Nigerian heritage. She was born a Nigerian, and of course, the record book tells us that she herself has said so. She left Nigeria when she was 16, and from what we know, she's been visiting Nigeria. She's visited Nigeria quite a few times. Kemi, some time ago, rose to become the leader of the opposition party in the UK, and of course, a lot of Nigerians, myself included, we've applauded her tenacity, her rise to this position that she is right now. And for those who may not even understand, she is like, the shadow prime minister of the United Kingdom. That is to say that if election takes place today, Kemi Bedenock could become the prime minister of the United Kingdom. Now, the downside to Kemi Bedenock's emergence is what seemingly looked like a confusion between her ambition to become the prime minister of the United Kingdom and her identity and her heritage as a Nigerian. Over time, Kemi, have been throwing jibes at Nigeria. She's been putting Nigeria in a very, bad, narrative. Her reference to Nigeria has not always been kind. She seemed to be somebody who is regretting her heritage as a Nigerian, and somehow she knocks Nigerian. If it's the bid to sell her candidacy or to sell her programs, I do not understand, and that is why when I've listened to this particular clip over and over and over again, and I'm like wondering, I don't understand why Nigerians across board all over the world from the very beginning have expressed pride in Kemi, Bedenock, political emergence and rise to the position she is right now. But she, on the other hand, appears to be ashamed, of Nigerians and everything Nigerian is. She has nothing good to talk about Nigeria. Every reference is made in the past. She's become the opposition leader. To Nigeria has always been in very bad light. And for me, I live in the United Kingdom, and of course, I listen to her quite often and all of that. While I think that she's probably got some programs that can be said to be laudable, the contrast between the programs she's got and the way the narrative she has of Nigeria, appears very disturbing. And that is why I want to send this message to her. Please, if you are there, share this broadcast. It's very important. So I will put things in proper perspective. I am a Nigerian by better my inclination, and Kemi is a Nigerian as far as I am. It's the same way I am. I like many Nigerians and all of that. And her most recent narrative of Nigeria, when she referred to her inability to give her children or her child or her children citizenship of Nigeria because she's a woman, it's contravenes the laws of Nigeria, and to that extent, it would seem like Kemi is either lying or deliberately, playing to the gallery. And I can tell you that this is in no way going to help her, her ascendancy to become the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, because there's already a backlash. But let's take a listen again for those who may not have seen this particular clip. And we are going to try to correct the impression being created here. And of course, talk a little bit about some of the things that she was talking about here. Let's take a listen a bit further. It's just a very short clip. Take a listen.
You say to somebody who's coming from Nigeria and wants to create a little mini Nigeria in Britain.
No, that is not right. And Nigerians would not tolerate that. That's not something that many countries would accept. There are many people who come to our country, to the UK, who do things that would not be acceptable in their countries. It's virtually impossible, for example, to get Nigerian citizenship. I had that citizenship by virtue of my parents. I can't give it to my children because I'm a woman. Yet loads of Nigerians come to the UK, stay for a relatively brief period of time, acquire British citizenship. We need to stop being naive, and that's why under my leadership, we now have policy.
I like us to clear some things here because this struck me quite a bit. She said her children can't get Nigerian citizenship because she's a woman. I think we need to correct that very quickly. But before we go into that correction, Kemi Bedenock, no matter what position she occupies right now in the United Kingdom, she's a child of a Nigerian, immigrant to the UK. She is an immigrant to the UK. And of course, the generosity of the United Kingdom and the openness to accepting everybody is part of what has given her, this opportunity, which means that she's enjoying the British dream, as it were, which is a good thing. But I also do not think that she needs to pull Nigeria down to climb. I remember Barack Obama, before he became president of America, when he became president, Barack Obama was always very proud of his heritage. A lot of the time when Barack Obama wanted to speak to the American people, he would always refer to his parents, his father, most especially, and of course his Kenyan heritage, his pride in the hard-working nature of his own father when he came to the US and every other thing, and that identity, situated Obama family to become president of the United States of America. But the way Amana Kemi is going about this doesn't seem to be right. First, let's quickly jump into the Nigerian Constitution. This is very important, and for those who may not know, so that we understand the Nigerian constitutional provision on who is a Nigerian, who is a citizen of Nigeria. Because I don't know where Kemi took her children to apply for Nigerian citizenship, where she was denied because she's a woman. And, I'm playing this kind of gender politics, trying to paint Nigeria bad like this, it may not be acceptable. As a Nigerian, we know that a lot of things are wrong with our system. And the things that are wrong with the Nigerian system, they are very political. They are issues of leadership, and they plague us badly. We talk about these things not in the light of trying to destroy Nigeria. We talk about them because we want them corrected. We want to see how we can possibly raise, an army of great leaders that we, fix Nigeria for us and all of that. But we don't criticize Nigeria because we want to, paint Nigeria in a bad light or, destroy Nigeria, which Kemi seems to be, doing, because, making statements that are not true, it's tantamount to trying to, of course, destroy a country, which is not now. And we Nigerians will take exceptions to that. Now, this is what the Constitution of Nigeria provides for. chapter 3, section 25 of the Nigerian Constitution states, it clearly defines who is Nigerian, who's a citizen. So the following persons are citizens of Nigeria by birth, namely, every person born in Nigeria before the date of independence, either of whose parents or any of whose grandparents belong to a community indigenous to Nigeria, provided that a person shall not become a citizen of Nigeria by virtue of this section if neither of his parents nor of his grandparents was born in Nigeria. Now, B, which is very important, say every person born in Nigeria after the date of independence, either of whose parents or any of whose grandparents is a citizen of Nigeria. Then C, this one, is the one that captures Kemi. He say every person born outside Nigeria, either of whose parents is a citizen of Nigeria, that person is a Nigerian. Then in section 2 of this, it says in this session, the date of independence means the 1st of October 1960. Apparently, which means that if your papa, your mama, your grandparents, any of them are Nigerians before independence, and you are born, okay, to any of these parents or grandparents before independence, you are Nigerian anywhere you are born. Now, if you were born abroad, okay, and your parents are Nigerians, like Kemi is. Kemi was born, Kemi grew up, I don't know, I think she was born in the UK, taken to Nigeria. She left Nigeria at 16 and every other thing. Because her parents are Nigerians who migrated from Nigeria and settled in the UK and all of that, does not change the fact that Kemi is Nigerian, which she also, confirmed in her statement. But for her to say that her children cannot get Nigerian citizenship contravenes the provision of this constitution, because this constitution clearly also states here that if you are born, okay, anywhere in the world, either your parents, direct parents are Nigerians, or your grandparents are Nigerians, you are a Nigerian. You are a Nigerian. That's what this constitution states here. Nigerian Constitution 1999, as amended. You are in it. So Kemi, you don't even need any long process. And to now add to say that you couldn't give Nigerian citizenship to your children because you are a woman, I also think that is too much. That is a very bad narrative, because a lot of people you are speaking to, they are global. They don't even know what's happening in Nigeria. And when you speak, because your word is policy now, people just take that away. And we need to correct that. If Kemi has gone anywhere where she was told that her children cannot become citizens, she needs to review that and revisit that. We want to make, if Kemi doesn't know the Nigerian Constitution, we want to make her understand that the Nigerian Constitution, does not, this section, relevant section of the Constitution, has not, denied Kemi's children, Nigerian citizenship. Kemi is a Nigerian. Her children are Nigerians. And this is why Nigerians right now be very upset with the statement that she has made on the global stage, and this is of a huge concern. While, many of us are very pleased that Kemi, has her tenacity has positioned her here where she is, and she is seen as a model to very many Nigerians who are aspiring, to rise and all of that. I think she should go be a good model. You understand what I'm saying now? And of course, aspiration to become British, prime minister, her ambition, cannot, confuse her identity. Kemi, whether you like it or not, my sister, you are not British originally. You are British by naturalization. You are British because your parents came here and resided here, and they themselves became British, and of course they extended that to you. You are not born British. You are born Nigerian. You understand what I'm saying? And the worst thing you can do is not to be proud of your heritage. Because at the end of the day, if you are not proud of your heritage, the people, these British people, no matter how lofty your ideas are, they are not going to take you seriously. And we did see that. We saw a glimpse of that a few months ago. when the British, Prime Minister Kestama, poked you a bit, and while everybody laughed, it wasn't very pleasant to some of us. But again, it shows how things actually are, how things work. You understand? For those who may not have seen that, this is what happened a few months ago with, in Parliament with the British Prime Minister in their Prime Minister session. Let's take a listen, and I'm going to talk about this briefly before we go to Nigeria.
Over the weekend, I suggested to the Prime Minister that he cut the aid budget, and I'm pleased that he accepted my advice. Mr. Speaker, it's the fastest response. It's the fastest response I've ever had from the Prime Minister. However, he announced £13.4 billion in additional defence spending yesterday. This morning, his Defence Secretary said the uplift is only £6 billion, which is the correct figure.
Prime Minister.
I'm going to have to let the Leader of the Opposition down gently. She didn't feature in my thinking at all. I was so busy over the weekend I didn't even see her proposal. I think she's appointed herself, saviour of the Western civilization. It's a desperate search for relevance.
So, the problem with that said it's a desperate search for relevance, and the Nigerian narrative should not be seen also in that light. But that said, she has a program for immigration in the UK. I think she should go through with her programs, as it were. She wants to cut down net migration in the UK. She wants to control immigration in the UK. She wants to make it difficult for people, to acquire citizenship in the UK and all that. These are part of her programs, okay? She's a member of the Conservative Party. It is their program, you understand? Whether that flies with the British people, where that remains to be seen, to be tested, apparently in the next general elections. But trying to bring down Nigeria, to uplift your programs, may not, be appropriate, and Nigerians are not taking kindly to it, Kemi Bedenock. And that's why I just said I'll add my voice to this matter. It's unfortunate. Now, what it be name? Now, building way for now, goat carry climb. It is the way Nigeria is that has led to all of this. But there's no excuse. We will continue to look at the issues, affecting us as Nigerians in Nigeria. We'll continue to talk about those issues in the constructive light, in the hope that the future will be better for the Nigerian people. For Kemi, Nigerians are not taking kindly to this. The idea that you cannot give citizenship to your children, please revisit that. Your children are entitled to Nigerian citizenship. By the Constitution, nobody can deny that. That narrative should not be preached anywhere in this world. It is just to correct that impression. Every Nigerian born to Nigerian parents or whose grandparents are Nigerians are automatically Nigerian. It doesn't matter. Even in Spain, we have a lot of Nigerians that have acquired Spanish citizenship. Even Spain does not, they don't encourage dual citizenship. They don't accept it in Spain. But so long as those children are born to Nigerian parents, it doesn't matter whether Spain accepts dual citizenship or not. They remain Nigerians. That is what our constitution states. So in the UK is not an exception. UK accepts dual citizenship, multiple citizenship, and every other thing. So Kemi, please, you probably need to revisit that. And that narrative, is tantamount to lies as has been interpreted. And so please correct that, hopefully next time. So Nigerians, just to make a drop this one, it's not a long one. Yeah, God bless you guys. See you again.